I'd just like to give a glimpse of Dr. Lillian I. Jasper. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. This is so apt about Dr. Lillian I. Jasper, the principal of Women's Christian College. She is an English professor. She loves teaching students using short and interesting anecdotes. She is an excellent orator, an avid reader, and loves and admires nature. Ma'am, we are all ears. The podium is yours.
I know that you're all excited and waiting to watch your kids perform, so I promise you my speech will be short. At the outset, I would like to thank the management of Faith International Academy, Dr. Priscilla Rajan and Mrs. Pramila Jacob for inviting me to this annual day celebrations. My respects to Mr. and Mrs. Dr. And Mrs. Sampi Cheladurai, Mrs. Madhurima Balasingh, and other dignitaries who are here with me. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage the parents and students to live life to the fullest and make the best possible use of the opportunities that God has given us. And I would say putting your child in a school like this is one of the best things that you have done, because just seeing the 3 programs that happened right now, I can see that the teachers have put in a lot of care and effort. Just thinking of making those kids perform made me feel tired, because I had 2 children who I had to mold, and making them do even small little things, as you know, is very difficult. And to have so many kids and to make them all perform is not a simple task. And I would say that especially the play was extremely professional. The sets and the diction and everything was really good. So congratulations. But then there are a few other things that as parents you need to do. Constantly we try to look into the past, our future, what are we going to do, and so on. The past is gone, the future is not ours. So spend time with your loved ones and cherish each moment before time runs out. Most often in college, when I talk to students, usually students come into my room only when they have problems. The problem usually stems from the fact that parents are not spending enough time with their children. And when I say spending enough time, it's not sitting before the television with your kid. It means going out, walking maybe, or having real quality time where you talk about something, discuss something, have time with your loved ones. The main character in Thornton Wilder's Our Town says, does anybody realize what life is while they are living it? Every minute. So it is important that you cherish. I know that at certain points there are parents who are not even there for programs in which their children are, which is very sad, because you should be there to hold their hands and say you did an amazing job and so on. But you're so busy with your building up your future that you don't have time for that, which is sad. The next thing that I would tell you is to do something out of the ordinary. Instead of sitting at home watching TV every night or playing with your mobile phone, why not spend some of that time doing good for someone? Maybe sometimes charity starts at home. Maybe you don't spend enough time with your spouse, your child is watching you. And what happens is, recently there was this kid who had some issues on campus and behavioral problems. And when we told the parents to take the kid to the counselor, they were very reluctant. But then afterwards they came and the father said, "Ma'am, it was an eye-opener," because there was so much of pent-up anger within that kid which came out, and most of it had to do with me, because he was a very busy lawyer, so he had no time to spend with his kids. So instead of spending time on other issues or imagining that you're building up your child's future, first see if you can mold their character, make them happy people. That is very important. Sometimes we also have a very limited vision, so enlarge your vision. Years ago, there was a golfer who was invited by the king of Saudi Arabia to play in a golf tournament. The king flew him in a private jet and they enjoyed some quality time together playing golf. As he was returning, the king had a very good time with this man, so he said, I would like to give you a gift which you will remember. And the man said, I collect golf clubs. And then the man boarded the flight. He was flying back to America from the Gulf. And then he wondered what sort of a golf club he will get, because, he imagined it will be of pure gold probably, or studded with gems or something like that, or probably something with his name engraved on it. And then, the mail arrived from the king. So he was wondering what sort of a golf club can be inside that particular envelope. And in it, he had a certified letter from the king presenting him with a 500-acre golf course or a club. So sometimes God has great things in store for you, but most often you have very limited vision. So I think sometimes as parents, we need to enlarge our vision. And students also, you have to set your sights higher, not a limited vision. And the next thing that you have to remember is that you're God's masterpiece. That means you're not ordinary. You're not one of those mass-produced goods that you get. You're one of a kind. No one in the world has your fingerprints. If you're not going to see yourself as unique or original or as God's masterpiece, I think it's sad. Most often, I find that parents are passing on their own complexes to their children. Sometimes they are angry with themselves, with their past, or with their whatever has happened in their life. Or, sometimes family members are constantly trying to undermine you when you were growing up, calling you by nicknames and so on. And so what happens is that you have complexes, and unfortunately, you pass it on. First of all, you have to change. And remember that you are God's masterpiece. And because of this, sometimes we keep comparing our children with the children next door, or sometimes, we compare our spouses with somebody whom we know. So I think we should not rub our complexes on other people. Last year, I had this opportunity to go to Boston, and there was this art gallery called Isabel Stewart Gardner Gallery. If you go there, I think you should go around and see some of those paintings. They're amazing. And I remember one particular painting which was absolutely abstract, modern, paint thrown here and there. I'm sure you must have seen some of these paintings, and I was like, oh, there are lots of interesting paintings, and there are these abstract ones. But there was this friend of mine from another college who is an art expert, and she said, you know what? One of those paintings costs $1 million. I looked at it again and thought, yes, it does look beautiful. Initially, that was not my reaction. I thought it looked very childish. Then I realized she told me that it was an original Pablo Picasso. I looked at it again and found it to be beautiful. So, what dawned on me through this was it's not what the painting looks like, it's who the painter is. Similarly, our value does not come from how we look or what we do or whom we know. Our value comes from the fact that the Almighty God is our painter. So don't criticize what God has painted. Accept yourself. You are not an accident. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. So it is important that you accept yourself. Most often, most problems come from the fact that you have not accepted yourself. And it's important that you do that. The next thing that I have noticed is parents need to have integrity. Most often, parents come and they're trying to defend or cover up for their children. You see, what happens is most often the kids are also following what you do at home. And I think we need to have integrity and strive for excellence in that field. Go the extra mile to do what is right, and it will percolate to your children. God doesn't bless mediocrity. When you have an excellent spirit, it shows in the quality of your work, and your children will simply follow that. Again, I'll bring a story in. A young man applied for a job as a farm hand, and when the farmer who was employing him asked him for his qualifications, the man said, "I can sleep through a storm." That puzzled the farmer, but he liked the young man, so he hired him. A few weeks later, the farmer and his wife were awakened in the night by a violent storm ripping through the valley. He leapt out of bed and called for his new hired hand. But the young man was sleeping soundly. You remember when he got appointed, he said, I can sleep through a storm. So he's proving it. And the man was really frustrated, the farmer. So he went around and quickly began to check to see if all things were secure. They found that the shutters of the farmhouse had been securely fastened. There was a good supply of logs that had been set at the fireplace. All the animals had enough food and, all the doors and everything was fastened. They went around the farm, the farmer and his wife went around the property and they found that the farm tools had been placed in the storage shed, safe from the elements. They saw the bales of wheat had been bound and wrapped in tarpaulins. The tractor had been moved into the garage. The barn was properly locked tight. And the animals were all calm because they had plenty to eat. All was well. The farmer then understood the meaning of the young man's words, I can sleep through a storm. Because the farmhand did his work loyally and faithfully, when the skies were clear, he was prepared for any storm. So, when the storm did actually break, he was not concerned or afraid. He could sleep in peace. So, similarly, if you have integrity, let me tell you, you can sleep in peace because there's contentment in your heart and you don't have to fear anything. The last thing I'd like to tell you is your time is now. Start making excellent choices in your life, even in mundane areas. Take care of everything that God has given you. You're called to live a life of excellence and you need to take pride in whatever God has given you. Everyone else may compromise on integrity and take the easy way out. But do not do that. Poor decisions will weaken our foundations, so commit yourself to integrity and excellence. Be the one to stand out in a crowd. Train your children also to be like that. It's very important. An honest worker does not treat her friends and colleagues badly. She treats them kindly. So when she goes home, they also treat their family respectfully. When you have integrity, you will do what's right, whether anyone is watching you or not. Give your best in whatever you do. My wish for all of you is that you will reach the highest point of your potential and that God will reward you far beyond your grandest dreams. Live an abundant, plentiful, and bountiful life. Thank you.